no introduction for this one. We're just going to hop right in and create this from scratch. So what I'd like to do is come up here to File, New. All right, I'm going to set my width at 800, height at 500, resolution at 300. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And the first thing that we need to do is go ahead and fill our background up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to grab a darker gray. Just going to go ahead and hit OK. I'm going to hit Shift Backspace. With the foreground color, I'm just going to select OK. I'm going to add on another layer. Go ahead and call this one BG for background. Call this Duct Tape. Alright. And with this layer selected, I'm going to get my rectangular marquee tool. Just going to draw the strip of our duct tape right here. Alright, and we need to fill this with a bit lighter color of gray. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come into the color picker. Just going to grab something in here, hit OK. I'm going to hit Shift Backspace. Alright, foreground color again. Just going to go ahead and hit OK. And then what we need to do is add some noise to this. So I'm going to come up to Filter, Noise, Add Noise. And you kind of want to play around with this. I would go anywhere between 4 and 8. When you get above 8, you're going to have a little too much noise. Alright, obviously I've been playing around with this, so it's set for what I wanted at. But I would not go above 8 just because when we apply the pattern in a second, it's going to look a little bit different or messed up and not quite the actual duct tape feel. Alright, so for distribution, uniform, and make sure you have your monochromatic set up. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And now the next thing that we need to do is actually add a texture to this. So let's go ahead and select Filter, Texture, Texturizer. Alright, and what we want to do is we want to grab the canvas texture up here. Alright, and for scaling, I would keep this below 80%. Obviously, if you want to make it a little bit thicker, or if you're working with a bigger piece of tape, then that's what you can do. Okay, I'm just going to drop this down a little bit. And for the relief, obviously, depending on how shiny you want this, alright, you come up with it, it's going to get a little shinier. I guess it's all the quality of duct tape that you want to get. But I'm going to go ahead and leave mine at 5. And for the light, I would really go with left, or top left, or top right. If you select top, you can kind of see that it gets not quite duct tape, but when you put the top left or top right, you kind of get the ridges in here that kind of go with the pattern that we're going to apply. Alright, so once we got that done, go ahead and hit OK. And what we can do now is actually add a layer style to this. So with this layer selected right here, come into the effects icon, bevel and emboss. Alright, and what we want to do here is we want to punch our depth all the way up to, not all the way up, all the way down to about, I don't know, 3. Alright, 3 is good. For the size, I'm going to make this 0. And down here for the highlight mode, I'm going to punch this down to 55%. For the opacity, I'm going to drop this down to about 30. Alright, and what we need to do next is come over here and grab the texture. Alright, and we need to make sure that we change our elements to the patterns. So if you click on this and then click on your drop down menu over here, go ahead and select patterns. What we're looking for are the soft tiles or smooth tiles over here. Okay? Waiting for that menu to come up. Or maybe not. For some reason it's not coming up. But you're looking for the soft tiles or smooth tiles. Alright, and what we need to do, obviously when you're looking at this image in the background here, alright, duct tape has got that little grid feel to where it's just hundreds of grids. Alright, and what we need to do is kind of scale this down to something that we're going to like. So for the scale, I don't know, just drop it down to something that you're going to like here. I'm going to actually bring this to about 19. That actually looks really good right now, actually. Alright, and for the depth, we can punch this up a little bit. There we go. I'm going to keep my, well, maybe not that much. I'm actually going to see what 250 looks like. 230. Yeah, I'm going to stick with 230. Alright, so once we have that set up, we can go ahead and hit OK. And let's see, what do we want to do in here? We can get into creating some jagged edges for the sides of our duct tape for a normal looking tear for duct tape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here, I'm going to grab my lasso tool, alright, and I'm just going to kind of click and drag and create somewhat of a jagged edge in here. Alright, once I have that, I'm just going to hit backspace, Control D to deselect. Alright, we've got a little tear in there. And over here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come in here with my lasso tool again, and I'm not going to make it as small. What I'm going to do is just kind of have this come in a little bit. Alright, hit backspace again. I'm going to hit Control D to see how that looks. That actually looks pretty good. Alright. Okay, let's see, what else can we do here? Alright, Alright, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and control click on this layer icon right here. And what I want to do is I kind of want to give this a little bit of an older feel. And how we can do that is by using our burn tool. So I'm going to come down here, select the burn tool, and make sure your range is at 20, or your shadows and your exposure just low. I just picked 25 just because we're really messing around and kind of looks good. But if we get in here and draw on this, maybe get that exposure up a little bit more. There we go. Just kind of gives it a little burn feel. I'm going to age it a little bit. I'm going to darken it up a little bit more. I'm just going to kind of go around the edges and do that. Leave out a little space. That last bit was a little too much. Alright. Kind of a feel in there. How's that? Nope. There we go. So what we need to do to complete the rest of this, we have to separate our effects layers in here as their own layers. We'll basically merge them because we're going to be applying some masks and things like that and adding some other cool stuff here in a second.